Okay, so this is session 8 of our Smoke and Snow game. When last we left our player party, they were on the borders of the lake leading to the misty, haunted shores of the Witch Isle. They have a boat that they've taken with them, and they've also been joined by the Friar of New Zealand, Brother Lomas, who, Brother Lomas, you've been starting to realise, given all the stories you've heard, particularly when these guys came back to the village last time, that given all the dangers out there in this new land of Valconan that you're all exploring, in order to protect your flock, so to speak, and protect the village, you're maybe going to have to maybe take a little bit more of a sort of proactive stance. None of which, of course, is a flimsy excuse for you joining the adventuring party. Not at all. It's all entirely legitimate.
Providence.
Indeed.
Praise Gale.
Okay. So, as you guys are obviously, we're sort of retconning our Friar, Brother Lomas, in, because obviously Darren's now joined the game. Now, for the purposes of this, obviously we know that last session you travelled up to the lake, but we're sort of retconning him in to have joined you at New Zealand, and he's travelled up helping you with the boat and camping with you, etc. And you've travelled up to the lake. And as you now look across it, you guys said last session, for obvious reasons, you wanted to wait till morning before you went to the Witch Isle. Can't say I blame you, since most of the occupants, you assume, of the Witch Isle, the undead, only seem to rise after the hours of darkness. So going early morning makes sense. So what I'm going to ask is, obviously, just to sort of clue Darren in as a bit of a sort of montage. This will have happened while you're travelling, etc. Would one of you care to relate your previous experiences on the Witch Isle and what you know about it? Just sort of clue Darren in, because obviously he wasn't there for the previous sessions. I'll leave it up to you which one of you wants to do that.
So, I would nominate Malcolm to talk about maybe the surrounding ideas that we've learned since. But or Leopold, whichever has the best notes from our expedition. But what we did last time was come in to the Witch Isle. It's sort of like early evening, bad idea. And we set about surveying the place, which was kind of like a demolished, it's like a ruined tower, not really a fortress, but a fortified position, quite ground down by time and probably the glaciers as well. And we found a lot of dead bodies animated by whatever darkness is here. We already knew beforehand that people who die are animated by some dark force, and they are drawn to the Witch Isle. So we found a lot of these, presumably people who have died in the vicinity, and they had been drawn here. And during daytime, they are inanimate. So we found a lot of corpses on the Isle, set about decapitating all of them, and also found a score of sarcophagi within which were more corpses, and we had a plan to sort those out, burn them. I decapitated all of them as well. And we found, I think, at the time, very little out about what had happened there, but this ties into a particular religious order that we've learned since. We didn't realize it at the time, what was really going on, but it was a religious order of knights who had been struck blind or blinded as they were persecuted by others who, well, there's a whole thing there, but we found some of their iconography of the sun and these blind knights on the sarcophagi, but we didn't really have a lot of time to dig into all that because night falls, all the bodies that we piled up to burn like cordwood just gone, and animated as the undead. It was a bad time, and we ran away as fast as we could because the entire fortress comes alive with undead, ghostly knights, I think it was, and we sort of didn't have the tools to address that problem, so we fled. That was our first excursion there, and we determined not to go back until we figured out how to deal with things. But we've since learned something more about all of this stuff. And now we have a relic as well, which we hope may be able to lift whatever curse is here. So that's my cliff notes on the action.
Okay, and I'll give the cliff notes on what we found out subsequently. So what we know is that the Amasu, who were like the ancient magic users, found something evil in the ice as the ice was melting. They were melting the ice to make the land more fertile. And they found something that scared them, and they basically stopped melting the ice and caused this big ice age. And they were persecuted for doing it. And these knights stood beside them, and the knights were kind of blinded and persecuted as a result of that. So then the knights were burned at the stake, and basically ended up in this isle. Now, what we believe is that the knights are true and faithful to their order and fight chaos. And they rise every night, and they call the dead to them every night to fight against a much darker evil that is contained within the isle. And so effectively every day it's just an island, and at night it's a battlefield between these ancient order of knights and their undead servants against this. I want to say it's a necromancer. I can't find my notes offhand, but there is an evil.
You originally told it was an evil sorcerer of some kind. They weren't specific about what flavour of sorcerer they were.
Right. So it's an evil sorcerer. And I think that's about it. Yeah.
So your presence on the island, was that seen as you were one of the sort of necromancer's followers, or you were seen as the evil goers?
We were largely ignored until my previous character shot one of the ghosts.
Oh, okay.
So largely ignored until we got aggressive with them.
Yeah, they didn't really actually find out what the sort of undead knights' intents were, because as soon as they were like, "Oh, there's mist everywhere. There's a load of like armored like undead knights walking towards us," they were like,
yeah,
and just like cheesed it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so
in the background of all this, there is a more practical thing going on in terms of these. We're trying to recolonize the area. There's various factions that want to stick their fingers into the pie. Everybody wants a slice of the action. We've got a merchant buddy who's we've dispatched off to a nearby fort, and you know we're trying to set up trade relations and bring some kind of measure of what would you call it? Prosperity to New Zealand, because it's just kind of hanging on by a toenail on the edge of this big area, and we're trying to fortify it. We've set people to work building a stockade around the village, I guess you'd call it, around the settlement, and there's kind of like there's a whole undercurrent of political stuff. So you've got all this like spiritual good versus evil thing going on, and then the neutral types are all vying for power and influence in the area as well. So it's quite a there's quite a tumultuous political thing going on, and then you've got some sort of mysterious original not discovered too much about. There's some people that live close to the glacier, or so we understand, and then there's like these we've encountered like a cyclops in this valley keeping sheep, and there's like these, I don't know if you'd call them like ape-like folk. So there's all sorts going on. There's quite a few strands that we've tugged at in past weeks. So it's not a simple business by any means.
But this is the most pressing matter at the moment, obviously.
Yeah, I think we were all a little bit alarmed by the Walking Dead every night, kind of rising up and heading here, there, and everywhere.
I think we were also given the sense that the sorcerer was winning.
Right.
Yeah, and then of course we've got this sentient sword that almost killed me when I picked the dang thing up, and it like sparked into life, talking about a questing and one thing and another, and I don't think we didn't necessarily set out on this quest just to keep it quiet, but there was maybe a little bit of that. There was a little bit of that, but it was like, it was almost the what is it? The squeakiest wheel gets the grease kind of thing.
Indeed. So, you presumably, like I say, early morning. It's the 7th of Midsummer, Shrine Day, which roughly corresponds to Sunday. You push the boat out as that the first rays of the sunlight are filtering over the horizon. You watch from the shores because, as I've said before when you've been here, you can see at night the sort of heavy layer of mist hanging over the island, which, from your previous experience, seems to foretell the coming of these undead warriors, these knights as you've called them. So you wait until the early morning, until the last of the mists shrouding Witch Isle has faded away, and you push your boat that you took with you out onto the calm water, all jumping into it and slowly poling your way in the cold across the glassy waters of the lake. And let's all have a look at your destination, shall we? I'm hoping you can all see that map.
Yep.
Okay, so
to the nightly tombs.
Indeed. Obviously you can see your player party icon here, down at the bottom. And previously you've sort of headed like straight up to here, which is where the tomb is. Obviously the rest of the island is sort of around. You can see that there's like a couple of, I suppose you might classify them as small sort of mountains, but they're really sort of big hills, basically. They're not like proper mountains. And there's a smattering of these sort of like coniferous trees over the island, and a few sort of rolling hills that you've sort of glimpsed just beyond the nightly tomb. So, are you planning on heading straight to the tomb?
You just lost Johannes, but
Yeah.
This isn't Neverland, is it, John? You haven't slipped in Neverland here or anything? There ain't no pirates and crocodiles and...
Well, there are pirates on the island, but I've not slipped in Neverland there.
You could have, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, easily. I don't really think it'd have the right sort of flavour for.
No, it'd be a bit
night
jarring,
line.
wouldn't
You know
it?
what I
It'd
mean?
be a bit jarring.
I think there'd probably be like a bit of dissonance going on there.
Yeah, yeah.
How big are the hexes, John? Just for
Okay, the hexes are. They are 0.6 miles, just to be awkward.
So on your previous visit to the island, you've basically gone to this nightly Tomes place. Tombs.
Yeah.
Did you?
I was going to say, on their previous visits, they've pretty much gone dirt, and gone to the tomb, and then sort of sailed away again.
Okay, so we've got no idea of where these nightly undead creatures are heading to for their battles on a nightly sort of basis.
No,
Yeah,
not
so
really.
I think we've seen them from afar, guarding the tombs and what was previously the tower. So I think we'd be somewhat confident that happens in and around that area.
okay, so yeah, so that seems to be the place of interest as far as we're aware. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, it's entirely down to you guys where you choose to go. Like, say you've set off early morning, so you've got plenty of daylight ahead of you.
I suggest we go into the southwest corner and leave our boat there and kind of approach it by land.
Yeah, all I was thinking is if you think that is the location we need to be, the closer we get to it, the more daylight and more time we're going to have before the undead sort of kick off in the evening. Is it literally nightfall or when the daylight fades?
I think it's nightfall, like after sunset.
Yeah.
Rob's just looking at doing a bit of hiking around the Ring of Kerry by the looks of
Yeah.
things down there.
Sorry, I keep extending it, trying to turn it off. But I suggest that we kind of set up, leave our boat there, a couple of miles away.
Obviously, if you guys need to like ping anything to show other people, if you hold down your left mouse button, it'll ping.
Yeah, I mean, it's only like 3 or 4 miles away, and we could just.
Yeah, 3 miles, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're not worried about a little bit of time, yeah, that's cool.
Okay, well, one of you feel free to move your player party token to where you want to take your boat. Okay, yeah, so you sail round, well, I say sail, you row round the shore to the southwest sort of promontory of the island. There's not really any sort of expansive beaches hereabout. It's like shale and sort of rocky, like small beaches that lead up, quickly giving way to sort of scrubby grassland, which still has a hint of the sort of like the morning dew clinging to it, but it's quickly freezing due to the cold temperatures. Obviously, as always, you're all togged up against the weather because you've been living in Valconen for some time now, so you're all togged up. That's absolutely grand. Okay, so are you heading straight for the tomb?
So is the plan still to sort of follow the coastline?
Well, it don't look as scary as they all made out it to be. I've not been here before. It don't look super spooky to me.
Oh, you've not been here either. Okay.
Oh, I've not been here.
Yeah, let's follow the coast and just see if we find anything interesting. Or see anything that might give us some indication of...
I feel like there may have been a little bit of exaggeration going on.
I've certainly heard of legends of walking undead, so
Yeah, well, yeah.
be on your toes.
Yeah, I've seen it. Don't you worry about that. Friar. Us dwarves are made of sterner stuff. We don't worry about this walking undead.
Okay, so if you're following the coast, you get to about here-ish, And as you're sort of just going round this hill here, you can see what appears to be some smoke, maybe from a campfire or something similar, that seems to be sort of like coming from this location. Obviously, you've not gone fully round the hill yet. I know I've put your counter there, but you can see this smoke coming up, and you can hear some hushed but like audible voices. And as you're sort of like cautiously moving a little bit nearer, Leopold, you recognise that these voices seem to be talking in like a strange dialect of Dwarven.
Ah, that's a strange dialect of Dwarven I hear. Huh?
What do you guys want to do?
Well, I'm pretty curious because I don't think I've encountered any other dwarves really thus far.
Not on Valconen, no.
And there is... Well, what do you want to do, fellas? I'm quite keen to investigate what's going on with... I can hear some...
Well, we don't want them at our backs when we're going there, so...
Yeah, we should definitely know what they know.
Right, let's go and see then. Listen, I'll do the talking. You keep your mouth shut, if you know what's good for you. Leopold has got this under control, rest assured.
Okay, so
possibly go wrong.
So Leopold, like you say, you're in the driving seat.
Okay.
What's your plan for approaching these apparently dwarves, you're assuming?
Yeah.
What's the plan for approaching? Are you just like bowling up, or?
No, I'll make... I feel like there must be some hailing protocol for approaching a fellow dwarven party from my homeland.
Yep, feel free to freestyle what it is.
Yeah. Ho there, fellow dwarven brethren. It is I, Leopold Stavish, approaching. Stand down. Be not on your guard. We come in the spirit of friendship and parley.
Okay. So as you say this, you're walking around towards this fire, and you see what appears to be a small campfire, as you'd expected. Around it are 5 people roughly similar in stature and height to yourself. However, they have a slightly bluish, like purpley sort of tinged skin, and their hair and their long beards are a sort of like ice white, pale blue colour, as are their eyes. They've all got like axes and various like melee weapons. As you sort of stride forward, and you're like, "Oh, there! It is I, Leopold Stavish." They all immediately like leap to their feet, and they're like grabbing their weapons up.
Klingon dwarfs,
ready to rumble, basically. And as they sort of leap up, one of them and again, it's like a weird sort of like version of dwarvish. You know, like how like sometimes if you speak French, there's some like Spanish words that are like a little bit similar, but the two languages are a bit different. It's a similar sort of vibe to that. One of them leaps up and he shouts, "They're trying to trick us again!" And he like whoops out like an axe, and he sort of stands there like holding it, almost like he's trying to like ward you off with it.
Okay, well, we'll stop at a distance. Oh, okay, fellas. They don't seem that friendly, and they've got a little bit of an alarming blue tinge about them. This is not quite what I anticipated, I have to confess.
As you're saying that, one of them like walks forward again, like still sort of holding his axe. It's like a woodcutter's style like axe, not like a Warhammer battle axe or anything. But he walks forward, and in this strange dwarf, and he shouts out, "Identify yourself!"
I'll walk up there with my sort of like fairly similar felling axe. You know, it's not really a battle weapon, it's just like a woodsman's thing, and I'll just have it on my shoulder, almost like a an identification of my kind of
like your dwarf pass.
yeah, my dwarf pass.
Right, I understand.
Hi there, well met, fellow. I am Leopold Stavish.
I presume you're saying this in Dwarven, or are you saying it in Common?
Yeah. I don't actually speak Dwarven, John. That's the snag.
You don't speak Dwarven.
I personally don't. But Leopold does.
That's fine. That's fine. I was going to say I was going to be surprised if your character didn't speak Dwarven.
No.
He
speaks it.
Okay, as you sort of like walk a bit closer, and obviously they can see you more fully now, their original looks of hostility appear to be placed by more sort of like looks of like curiosity, and like a couple of them sort of like crowd around you. They're sort of like putting their weapons like back on their belts, etc. So they're not like rushing you in a combat, but they like move around you and they're looking at you like curiously, and they're sort of like not sort of like aggressively, but they're just sort of like
yeah.
And then one of them, as Pokey turns around to the guy who asked you to identify yourself, and he's like, well, what manner of strange creature is this? It looks like one of our people, but look at it, and then it says some word. You think it's describing your complexion, but like the word doesn't translate exactly. It's like look at its skin and its hair. It looks like. Well, no, because they've got almost white skin, so you look.
Oh, they're bluish, aren't they?
Yeah,
I imagine I'm.
They've chosen the Arctic colour palette on their Windows screen. Yeah. Let's just say that. And they're sort of like they're basically going like, oh, what's this? It looks like one of us, but like look at his skin, look at his hair, like, and the strange way he's dressed, and they're all wearing like white furs and like leathers and stuff like that. And they're basically just stood around, so like they don't really seem to know what to make of you.
So I just like offer my hand out to shake their hand, kind of thing.
Yeah, like the two are sort of pokey. You hold your hand out, and they're like they're not really sure what you're doing. They're sort of like looking at your hand, like.
Oh man, they left me hanging. I like just make out I never put my hand out, and I just like flatten down my hair, kind of thing, straighten out my beard. All right, okay, it's like that then.
Okay, one of the people who's been like poking you, one of the dwarves, so like walks around to the guy who originally spoke, and as he walks over to him, he goes like that, like sort of smacks his fist into his own shoulder, and the one who spoke originally says, "What do you make of it? Is it some sort of trick? They've played devilish tricks on us before." He's like, I don't know. It, as I say, it looks like one of us, but different to any of our people that I have seen, and it is not someone I recognise from the tomb.
When they're saying that, I'll butt in and say I'm from over the sea. I'm from over the big water. I'm from far land.
That provokes like an excited discussion amongst them, like a very rapid fire discussion that's like so quick you really don't catch much of it.
Yeah,
it's like if you've learned a foreign language and then native speakers are really like rapid. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there seems to be like a debate going on between these like five dwarves. Like there's occasional sort of like gestures at you. So while this is going on, what are the rest of you guys doing? Obviously, you're near enough to like hear all of this and like peep round and see it if you want.
Yeah, basically standing by, waiting for Leopold to call in the artillery, i.e. the bows. If it comes to that. So like standing by, ready to get the bow out. Because...
Yeah, very much kind of examining them from a distance, trying to work out what their strengths and weaknesses might be and what kind of armour they might have on. And
they're wearing leather and fur armour. They appear to be on with a variety of like axes. Like I said, they're similar sort of build and stature to Leopold, aside from the differences in their hair and skin coloration. Most of the skins they're wearing look to have been taken from like Arctic animals, because they're sort of that off-white sort of like cream colour. They're, like I said, they, apart from the coloration, they look like pretty pretty much standard dwarves, dressed for the climate. Like I say, they have these watery, like blue eyes, this sort of white hair coloration, which reminds you a little bit of the small tribesmen you encountered previously. Although due to like their bulk, they're obviously not the same sort of creature. They're more akin to like Leopold than that. After a short while, the one who originally spoke steps forward, sort of like going like that and like parting the other two out of the way. And he, standing in front of you, Leopold, and he's obviously like speaking slowly so that you can like try and understand him. And he says, "Did you come from Takret?" And he like gives you like a...
I did not. I don't know of this place. Where is this place you speak of?
Takret is not a place, it is a man.
Then no, I do not know Takred.
One of the other dwarves behind him sort of like butts in and he's like, "He is not a man, he is a scourge on this place. We should cast him forth from this island." And the other dwarf's like, yes, of course, we will. But
who is Takred?
The dwarf sort of says, the one who was originally speaking, he says that it is cold. Come, sit by our fire. And he like gestures to the fire, and the other dwarves sort of like plonk themselves down next to the fire.
Okay. I gesture to my companions. I have some companions with me. Unfortunately, they're not dwarves. However, they're okay. They're not too bad most of the time.
He looks at you and he's like, "Dwarf?"
Yeah. I identify as a dwarf where I come from. That's what we call our people. We in our language we are dwarves, as are our ancestors and our ancestors before that.
He
You
nods.
can have ancestors before your ancestors.
Your ancestors.
Your ancestors.
He nods and says, "Yes, your friends."
Yeah,
He like
yeah.
gestures.
Yeah, think of them more as brothers in arms.
He nods.
So I'll give the signal. The come over, it's all right signal. You can stand down with the longbows. Signal.
Confidently strut across there, yeah.
Yeah, you head across these strange sort of, I'll call them frost dwarves just to distinguish when I'm talking about Leopold or these people.
Mm-hmm.
These sort of frost dwarves, they look a bit suspicious as you walk over, but like after you're all like settling down and like a couple of minutes have passed and you're not obviously trying to like attack them, they seem to relax a bit, although they've all got like their weapons close to hand. Most of them just like sink their axes into the ground next to like where they're sitting so they can grab them up if they need to. And then as you sit down, what seems to be the leader of these frost dwarves, the one who was speaking to you, says, "Tell me, why do you come to this cursed place?"
That's a question I ask myself on a regular basis. However, we to the southeast of here, there is a cursed place where the restless dead rise at nightfall.
At which point the lead frost dwarf sort of like looks, obviously all this has been in Dwarven, he looks around and like seeing that like your friends are like, he says, "Your brothers, they can understand me," or
no, no.
At which point, Johannes, you hear a voice in your head go, "That bloody white-bearded fellow's asking if you can understand us." Obviously, no one else hears that.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
Okay, at which point the lead Frostorf switches into like halting, like common. Again, it's like a weird sort of variant of common, but it's enough so that you guys can understand. And he says, "You understand me now?" And he like, looks around at you all.
Yeah.
Oh, nod.
Good. We know the place that you speak of. It is our. And he looks like he's sort of like struggling to like recall the exact words. He says, "It is our great shame."
Why so? Why so?
He says, "A long time ago, before we went below, our fathers, they believed good men had done a great evil, and in their blindness, they struck these men down. It was only later our people learned the truth, but was too late. Ever since then, to make to try and get forgiveness, we have dwelled here in one of the ancient buildings and have sought to care for it. But that was before Takret came here.
Yeah, this makes sense. Yes, the knights in these tombs seemed that they were. It seems that they were trying to do good for the folk who lived here, and they suffered as a result. It seems that you have learned some of the same lessons that we have also learned.
My people, when after they explored the ancient buildings, and we found there the reason they had done what they had done, and we knew great sorrow, but by then it was too late to take back what had been done.
And you've dwelt here all along, you and your people.
He says, yes, and he like points northwards. He says, over there is
hills.
Yes, there is an ancient building that once housed those who the warriors served, and many of them were laid there. We moved into that building to care for it, to protect it. It was all we could do. We could not take back what had been done. But now the building is overrun by Takret and his creatures, and it is all we can do to fight them back. The warriors and their forces fight them too regularly, and he like gestures to like the northwest, where the great stone stands. Each night there is terrible battle, and we help where we can, but we are too few.
What can you tell us of the Great Stone?
From what I know, a long time ago, those who the warriors served, they set the Great Stone, and they worked at it with their mighty powers. I do not know what it was for, but it was precious to them. And for some reason, Takrit seeks to gain control of it. I do not know why, but he has strange creatures that may once have looked a bit like you, and he gestures at the three of you apart from Leopold, but now they are twisted, monstrous things, but they serve him loyally. We have but a couple of small back ways out of the ancient building. We use them infrequently, lest they be discovered, but we send out small parties, such as myself and my brothers, during the day mostly, when the warriors rest, to see if we can harry Takrit's forces and prevent whatever they are trying to do. But as I say, there are too few of us, and most of us are occupied defending the lower levels of the building against his forces. It is our hope that by keeping Takrit occupied and in that place, that the warriors can do what it is they need to do, and perhaps we may earn forgiveness.
So Takrit has the higher halls.
I'm sorry?
This Takrit, he controls some parts of the building.
Yes, he has... his creatures have overrun the upper level, and the second level is a battlefield between us and them. Most of our people have retreated to the lowest layer of the great building. It is getting more difficult to use the secret ways to send out patrols.
And this Tagrit and his forces, that they travel during the day, or do they rise in the evening?
They travel during both when it is light and dark.
Have you seen Takrit?
Yes, I have seen him.
What manner of creature is he?
He is a man like you, and he gestures at the three of you with that, and he makes like a robe, and he seems like a normal man, but I have seen him wield the forces of the smoking mirror against my brothers.
What do you think brings him here? What is it? Why does he plague you?
We believe he seeks something in the great, and again he gestures to the northwest, in the great stone. I do not know. I do not understand his power, but a number of his creatures are often seen in the area. We have not been able to get close to the stone, for there are too many of them.
He's clearly up to no good and needs to be stopped. Sorcery is afoot, I feel.
The Frost Dwarf leader nods, and as he's saying that, he gets out some rations. Any of you have like a rangerly persuasion, or be able to tell it's like boar meat.
Oh, nice.
And they're basically, a couple of the dwarves start like shoving sticks through like these chunks of meat to get out the bag, and they like set them in the ground, so they're sort of like diagonally like near the fire, and they slowly start cooking away.
We got anything in our group swag bag that may be worth offering up to these fellas? We got any sort of like trade goods?
think most of our goods are literally coin.
Yeah,
Uh,
cold hard cash.
that's a bit boring, isn't it?
They probably
Yeah.
don't take credit card here.
Nah.
We have some furs, from the hunting trips that we've done. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I just
pretty much
got
it.
a rake of nails and chalk. She's not super interested.
I'm going to have a quick sniff to see if I can detect any alcohol in the vicinity.
Roll me a d6.
Okay. Or 2.
Okay, you sort of like, you don't really smell any, but as you're like having a quick look around, you can see that like one of the dwarves, like the frost dwarves, under his like fur cloak, like he's basically got what appears to be like a little like barrel, like on his belt. You can just see like the edge like poking out from under his cloak.
I shall make it quite obvious that I'm looking at it. And I'll make some gesture that my wineskin is empty. I shall sort of have a drink of it and then
Shaking it,
shaking it empty.
holding it up to you.
And I'll sort of keep looking over curiously.
The
Try and catch his eye.
Yeah, you catch his eye, not a problem. The frost dwarf with the barrel, he says something in this strange dwarven to like the leader, and they both laugh. They both like throw their heads back and laugh. And he says, "My brother asks, do you want?"
And with that, I sort of, with a sort of unnatural speed, sort of gesture my wineskin in that direction. And as you asked nicely, I would like to sample some. Yes.
The frost dwarf with the barrel like takes it out. He like pulls like a thump little cork out of it, and there's a weird sort of alcohol, but sort of like mixed with like a sort of earthy sort of smell. And it's not entirely unpleasant, it's just a little bit weird. And he takes a top off,
Mushroom vodka.
he takes a tip off your wineskin, and he starts pouring like this sort of like thick red liquid into your wineskin. Then he like corks up his barrel, sticks it on his belt, and he like passes it over to you. He's like,
Thank you kindly, and I'll take it back,
okay.
and I'll take a swig fairly sharply to see what they've got.
Okay, that is absolutely fine. Can you please make me a poison save?
Oh, lovely.
You should just be able to like click on your sheet where it says death,
Yep.
poison, and it should roll it. Okay, success. Splendid. Like, this stuff is really, really strong. Like, you have like a big swig of it and you're like, but it's got like a weird sort of like thick texture to it, and this like odd like metallic tang, sort of like an aftertaste to it.
Yeah.
But you can definitely taste it's like very alcoholic.
Oh, excellent. Very warming. Thank you, sir. And I'll sit down to make sure I don't fall down.
Yeah, no problems.
Probably for the best.
The dwarf like pulls his barrel out again, and he like passes some round to like the other dwarves who were like knocking it back. They're also remaining like quite grim faced, but they drink a bit. If you guys sort of like they're pretty much like passing the barrel around, everyone's like taking a swig of it. They will offer it to the rest of you guys if you want to take like a supple of it.
Yeah, I'll give it a blast, you know.
I'll
You know,
try
I
to
can't-
discreetly tell them not to.
I can't. No, I can't be. Nah.
Yeah,
No.
if you want a discreet time not to, so you guys are like, obviously this barrel's being passed around, and the friar's like,
I'll try to without being noticeable. That I wouldn't if I was you. But
Oh. That's a balls up.
okay. Obviously, there's no real massive game effect. This is just like a role play thing. you're like, you pretty much like, you're like, yeah, I'm a dwarf.
Yeah,
I can,
could it be?
Yeah, you're like, I can take whatever you've got, and you take like the massivest like chug off this barrel, and as you lower it down, like your vision goes, and everything goes like really hazy, like someone's got like a really bad focus on like their webcam, like you're having to like look at. When you look at something, it looks fine, but everything else sort of goes a bit blurry around it. So you're like, when you're talking to someone, you're like. But obviously, you're a little bit on the tipsy side, so it's just a roleplay thing. Feel free to roleplay that. Yeah, and again, like I say, it's got this odd sort of like metallic sort of like after. The best way I can describe it is if someone had like distilled down the essence of a black pudding and then like mixed it with vodka. That's what it tastes like.
So vaguely ironish.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, it's lovely stuff. Got any more?
A couple of the frost dwarves laugh. So, why more? Malcolm, are you guys having a little sip, or are you abstaining?
No, I think we're.
I think I'll butt in at this time, and maybe we should be looking to continue our journeys. We've maybe taken up too much of your time.
Lightweights.
Yeah, if any of you had any doubt to the fact that like Leopold is like smashed, his shouts of lightweight sort of quickly dispel it.
Lightweights.
One of the dwarves sat near you says something in this like strange dwarvish tongue to his leader, and like, all of the frost dwarves laugh. You don't really catch all of it because like you're quite drunk, and it's like say it's in this sort of strange dialect. But they say something about like the blood's gone to your head or something similar.
Oh dear.
Well, the question is though, which way do we go? Do we prowl around as planned, or do we?
Well, from what we've been told, it sounds like the war site or the battleground is to the northwest around this stone. So, do we need to investigate what the significance of the stone is?
It would seem like if they're saying that there is a worker of dark miracles around, that would probably match up with whatever we read about.
The lead frost dwarf sort of like looks at the three of you who aren't like inebriated. He's counting you as not inebriated, Friar, because he's like, oh, you're still like conversing normally, whereas Leopold's like, hey, hey. So he's like,
on the ground.
He's like, I'll give him a minute. I'll talk to these three. And he turns to the three of you and he says, one of you has
on full Mickey.
Sharp knife.
Yeah,
And he's
I have a knife, and I'll just hand that over.
Okay. In the sort of softer area around the fire, because obviously the heat sort of like melted the snow, etc. He like brushes away the snow, like with the knife you've given him. He like draws out like a blobby sort of like rough shape, but it's obvious it's like meant to be the island that you're on. And he draws a couple of crosses on it. If I can find the right thing, there we go. And he points to the cross just to the north of you that I'm pinging now, and he says, "This is the ancient building where we fight." And then he points to the other cross, which I'm pinging now, and he says, "This is where the great stone is." And then he like spins the knife around and like offers it back with like a handle out to whoever gave it to.
And I'll just take it back on. Okay.
He says, "I regret we cannot come with you. We have other purpose."
Have you anything that we could use it if we meet any of your kind, any others that we could say to them to allow us to pass or sort of move freely.
He looks at one of the other dwarves and he says something to him in quite a commanding tone in this sort of weird dwarven. The other dwarf like seems to protest for a while, and he repeats the same phrase but like in a more forceful voice. At which point the dwarf like rather reluctantly sort of like takes his axe up out the floor and like holds it out in your direction, Friar.
All right. Well, quite surprised. But I take it from him.
He doesn't really seem that keen to give it you, the other frost dwarf, but he's obviously been like told to do so, and he's like hands it over to you.
Okay. Yep. I shall thank him.
I'll give him my axe back. I'll go, there you go, axe for an axe. Good enough.
You hand it over, and the frost dwarf, who's like not spoken any common, who you hand it to, sort of like swings it experimentally a bit, and then he nods, he turns to you, Leopold, and he's like, and he seems a lot happier now he's actually got an axe.
Yeah, he's got to have an axe. Can't leave the geezer out without an axe.
I'll keep the axe for now, and then I'll give it to Leopold a little bit later.
Okay, no problems. So effectively we'll just leave the axe on your character sheet, Leopold, because it's not like magical or anything, so you've still got an axe.
Yep. Cool.
Okay, so over to you guys. What do you want to do?
So
I've got a cool frost axe now. Cool frost dwarf axe.
the stone of import is some distance away.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a couple of miles. That's only
2 miles. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is still on the isle, but what I'm saying is other things are closer. Now, the ruins where the knights are, presuming that they are not the source of, as we have learned, they are not necessarily the source of the most ill intent around these parts. Do we have any interest prowling there, or shall we go either to the stone or to see where they clash with this sorcerer?
Well, that building where they clash with the sorcerer is only like a 10-minute walk away. Or, it's like, if that, it's
Yeah,
literally
but
a stone's throw away.
the smoking mirror is interested in the stone. Because that's where the frost dwarves are fighting the creatures in the building, but the knights are fighting Takra that night at the stone. So I think we should check out the stone and see who's there during the day.
Yeah, I mean, the stone's going to be quieter during the day, certainly, if you want to investigate it.
No, we go there then.
But whether we can learn anything from looking at it, I don't know if we've got the required skills to really learn much, but it's certainly worth investigating, I'd have thought.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. You go and then you learn, and then you have a skill.
Stone? Don't you just want to go and shank this fool in the building? I'd shank that fool whilst he's being foolish. Let's have him. Let's have him out. Let's give him a few licks. That's what I say.
Yeah, I
Some
think
good dwarvish steel, mate. That's what he needs.
maybe
None of this stone business.
Malcolm.
We're wizards
do you have some
now.
rations?
We're wizards, are we?
We need some rations for Leopold, please.
Rations? Well, when we cut this fella up, then we'll have some rations, won't we? Cut him up and then we divide him up amongst ourselves.
The sorcerer, Leopold.
It wouldn't be the first time I'd ate a few humans, I'd tell you that. What? What?
On that
Just have
note,
some food. Just have a little bit of food there and we'll go and explore the stone.
Starting to feel a little bit peckish, if I'm honest.
The frost dwarf sort of like gestures at their sort of like boar meat and says you're welcome to have some.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, I'll like hold out a hand, borrow like Malcolm's knife there, and get some of the greasy bits.
Nice.
For Leopold to get his goddamn head straight.
Yeah, you all like chow down on a bit of boar meat. It's it's not been cooking for very long, so it's on the rare side, but fine.
Okay.
Yeah, to the stone first, then.
Okay. Move
Yeah,
yourself,
I think
move
so.
yourself across. Okay. And I'm going to move you onto the map to show you the stone. And I'm guessing as soon as I move you onto this map, you'll all be like, can't see the map. But I will sort that out shortly. So if you can't see it, just let me know.
I
I
can
can see the map.
Yeah, I can see it.
Cool. I was hoping you'd say that because I set it up so you should be able to see it even if you've not got any tokens on it.
It's a little bit of the old 2-minute tabletop, unless I'm much mistaken.
You are mistaken.
Oh, is it? Is it not then?
Nope. Okay, so I'm going to put you guys sort of down here. Okay, so as you're heading towards this area, you can see it's like rising up into a hill. On top of the hill is what appears to be like a second sort of artificial hillock that has been built with large stones. There are large stone pillars sort of set at intervals around a small, only about like an inch off the ground, stone dais upon which appears to rest this huge chunk of some sort of greenish material that like pulses with this green light. And around the clearing, sort of like skulking around, you can see these humanoid figures, but they're all sort of like twisted and gnarled and sort of like bedraggled. They're sort of, you see like one of them's got like a club foot and he's like dragging it along. Some of them have like withered arms or various other sort of ailments obvious on their physicality. And they appear to be sort of like prowling around the area.
Do they look like they're mutated or just sort of deformed?
It's difficult to tell exactly. They look like they might have once been human or human-like, but they have all these sort of like twisted aberrations of form.
Corruptions.
Yeah.
Do they seem to be interacting with each other in any way? Or are they sort of oblivious?
Yeah, they sort of occasionally like bump into each other. There's a bit of like pushing and shoving, nothing too serious. Occasionally they talk to you. They talk in common, so you hear a few of them say sort of like, "Oh, well, why have we got to stay around here for how much longer?" And then the other one's like, "Shut up! We've got to wait here and guard this place until dark, until the master gets back. Go on, get back to it." That
So
sort of like conversation.
They're not mindless then.
Riddle me this, John. Is there visible breath in
Yes,
the air
there
as
is,
they
yeah.
go above? Okay.
They are definitely not undead. They are living creatures, as far as you can tell.
This stone wall in front of us, how high is it?
This one here, the sort of stone hillock.
No,
Oh,
sorry,
this
the
one.
one we're kind of behind.
It's about 15 foot, but it like gradually slopes up. Like you could walk up it.
Okay, and could they walk up it from their side, or is it steep on their side?
Yeah, they could walk up or down it. Like I say,
Okay.
it's fairly shallow as it sort of like heads up. I mean, you guys are. I've moved you on the bottom of the map, but really, you guys are sort of like in the tree line, like looking over this.
Yeah.
So you're not in any danger of immediate discovery. I just wanted to like, actually put you on the map.
Yeah. But
They're
it's
on
also
they're-
not at an ambush location to be able to shoot them.
You could shoot. You would be at a small penalty because you'd be like firing upwards from here, but you could shoot from here. Yeah.
Okay.
They're on like a little plateau above us, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, that's sort of the idea. It's like a small hill.
Okay. Sorry, I understand. Sorry. I thought we were higher than them. And
Yeah,
I had
no.
an ambush. Okay, but we're not.
Yeah. But
Okay,
what
yeah.
we can do is, because we're in the tree line as established, go up a tree, like level out the difference a little bit, and if we want, we could start shooting from there and have them come to us. Maybe.
There's an awful lot of them.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is.
Anyway, the stone looks good. Maybe we should check out the building.
Do they look particularly slow though, with these sort of disabilities and such?
Since you can't really make generalizations, since they're all like twisted and deformed in different ways.
Yeah.
But some of them, particularly if they're like legs are sort of like deformed, are quite slow. However, you can see a couple of them that appear to be moving like quite rapidly.
So quite a mix.
Yeah.
I feel like they're not super competent foes.
But there is large number, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a bunch, 12, 15,
About 15 or
like
so, yeah.
Yeah,
They are sentient as well.
Yep. So we're outnumbered about 3 to 1.
But
I reckon 2 to 1. 2 to 1 we could probably take them. I think 3 to 1 is probably a bit much.
But do we think if we engaged them and moved away, they would follow? Because they are sort of held to the stone, or do you know what I mean? They're sort of they're tied to it in a way that they wouldn't be able to give chase, maybe.
Well, they're guarding it, aren't they? We could hit them and try and take out 3 or 4 of them.
That's what I mean, a hit and run sort of approach.
And then bug out.
Because at nightfall, then this place is going to be super crowded and busy, and we ain't going to be able to get near it, is what they're sort of saying, if that's my understanding.
Well, we could definitely try and take out these 2 at the bottom near us.
On the path there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and see if we could take them out quietly or relatively quietly and scamper if not.
Yeah. They might not even know we've done it almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm willing to try, certainly.
Okay, well, I'll hop up into this tree here.
Okay.
If I can, so this one here, I think.
Yep, you have no problems climbing the tree.
Okay. And then I think I will try and shoot this guy here.
Okay.
Well, hold on a sec. I'll come out there with you because I've got a crossbow there.
Yeah, I've got a sling, which is a bit limited on range, but
Okay, roll me a d6, please, Leopold.
Oh, how do I do that? Oh yeah, over here.
Yep, despite still being fairly tipsy, you have no problems getting up the tree.
Hey.
Okay, so make your attack roll, Malcolm.
Are we going for the nearest guy on the path? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we will concentrate fire.
Okay.
Dank.
So, Malcolm, you have hit this creature. You've not done enough damage to kill it. Is anyone, obviously, since you guys are all sort of going the same initiative, is anyone else taking an action? Leopold, you fire your crossbow, but obviously still under the influence of the drink. Your bolt just like sails over his head.
Yeah, it's just a
I've
test,
got a
test shot.
a slingshot.
Yeah, if you hover over the icon for it in your inventory, it should change to a dice and you can just click it.
What about the ranged? What do I do with?
You're,
ain't that far.
yeah, you're easily within range.
Yes, there's no.
No, there's no
penalties
modifiers for it. Okay.
Oh! Rolled off the 17.
Okay, so you fire your sling, and in this sort of tree down here, you hear like a as your stone goes wide and hits the tree. At which point you see this guy here on the right sort of like looks up in the direction of the tree as to like see what the noise was.
Yeah, and there are in fact modifiers for range. And I will shoot this one. Oh, it's not pinging. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I'll shoot that one with the long bow.
Okay, go for it.
And missile. And it's in my lowest bracket, which means I get +1. So 11.
Okay.
Not got dex modifier, no?
So your arrow zings past this creature and sort of like embeds in the ground next to him. Obviously, seeing like a couple of arrows come at them and hearing something in the trees, this creature on the left that you're all firing at throws back its head and lets out this like bestial bellowing roar, at which point it's answered by the other creatures that are around the stone, and they immediately like lift up their weapons, and it's a mishmash of like clubs and sticks and primitive weapons, and they're all sort of like looking around. I'm going to make a roll to see whether they spot you or not.
Oh,
no, they don't. Okay, so they're all like prowling around this area. Obviously, I'm not going to move all the tokens, but they're all prowling around the area, aware that someone's tried to attack them and sort of like looking for you guys, but they've not spotted you yet. You've got like time to act. They will eventually get to like the area you're in, but you've got a bit of time to act before they do.
Okay, well, I definitely want to have another go.
Okay. Are you shooting at the same one?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the one who's thrown back his head and is like, all of a sudden this arrow goes like, and sticks in his throat, and he's like, and he falls over backwards. Dead.
Well, I'll take a shot at his friend.
Okay.
Okay. Ah, shit. So, here we go. Come on, Bobby.
That's definitely a hit.
Okay, 6 damage.
Okay. So, would you like to describe how you dispatch this second creature?
I guess because this particular one was alerted by the sling stone in the bushes or the tree. I think it probably stands to reason that his body is raising the alarm, but he heard that there was something going on there, so it's probably like raising its own weapon and heading off to deal with whoever's behind the tree, and just gets shot in the neck and just like. And never indeed, seeing what happens.
That's what happens. This creature, as Johannes rightly said, has like hefted its club, and it starts like running towards the trees where the slingshot stone hit, and sort of like mid-stride, this arrow just catches it just under the skull. Its legs go out from underneath, and it pretty much goes and like slides along the ground,
just skipping on the ground.
Yeah, like twitches a few moments and lies still with this like arrow sticking out the back of its head. Okay.
I think Leopold can see this one silhouetted just inside the circle at the top of the steps.
Yep.
Silhouetted against the flashing stone. He's going to shoot at that creature. Not that one, this one. No, this one down here. I don't know how to ping on here. How'd you ping on this?
This one here?
Yeah, that's the fella.
Okay.
Gonna shoot that fool. Yeah, boy. That's a 19. Oh, that's...
Okay, so the good news is you have hit him with your crossbow. However, the bolt just like grazes his arm,
It
which
merely
point,
impacted on the surface.
yeah, so you can see like a bit of blood running down, so you had injured him. But obviously he sort of like turns round like, in the direction the bolt came from, and you see his like malformed eyes like widen as he catches sight of you, Leopold.
Okay, well, I'll follow up that shot now that you've put your tracer shot down.
Yeah,
That's
as
it,
you're
yeah.
as you're getting your
Tracer
sling
fire.
ready, you can literally just see like this creature that's just been skimmed by the crossbow bolt is like turning round to his fellows and starting to get ready to like probably point with his club.
It goes up his sleeve and comes out his other sleeve.
Okay, and he is
Ah.
hit. He is hit with a stone. Oh no, he's not because you've got a -1. So
Yeah.
so he's not hit with a stone. Okay, a stone whizzes over his head. He like ducks down, like his head just like dropping down into his neck. Then he turns around, points his club at Leopold, and he screams out to his fellows, who all sort of immediately start sort of like leaping to come after you guys. Now, I'm basically going to move the nearest ones to the top of this hill, because they're going to have to sort of like clamber down it on the next turn. So I'll move a few of them over here. A few of them will stay with the stone.
Maybe it's time to test our theory on whether they're going to follow us.
Yeah. The cruel fact is we have 2 longbows, and they have no ranged weapons that we can tell
Yeah.
so far. So we could kite them around.
You sort of get the feeling that, like, given that these dwarves have said they've been fighting against them, they're pretty much used to fighting against people with axes who are like, "It's combat, let's go."
Yeah, it's like
they're not
clobbering time.
they're not really used to people from like half a mile away being like.
It's like dong.
But yeah, they're all sort of letting out these bestial howls. Some of them even drop to like all fours, and they're like running towards the top of the shallow hill, sort of heading after you guys. But that's it for their turn.
I think it's time to go. Like draw them out.
I suggest we make,
Okay.
hastily retreat and see if they follow.
Okay, so I am going to shoot this one that's injured and then kind of basically
Okay.
jump down from the
Right,
tree.
now, just to explain, guys, you've got a couple of choices here. Obviously, these aren't the only choices; they're just like the most obvious ones. If your action for this turn is just to like run, then you can be gone.
That's me.
If you stop and make an attack, obviously you won't be doing like the full ball run away, so there'll be more of a chance of them catching you. If you see what I mean. But it's down to each of you as an individual.
Yeah, because
I'm
they could use a run as
GTFO.
well.
Boo. My name's Vincent and I'm Van Gogh.
Laughing so much I dropped my rulebook then. Okay, so who wants to do what?
I'm definitely going to shoot first and then scamper.
Okay.
Eat, shoots and leaves like the panda.
That's it.
Well, if you want to attack, make your attack roll.
Alright.
Ooh. There you go. Oh.
Okay, which one are you shooting at?
That one that was already injured. The Grays guy.
Okay.
Right, he's gone.
Okay, so you have hit him. He sort of stumbles a little bit, but he recovers himself and keeps running. But you can see, like, obviously, he's got a couple of injuries on him now, and there is, like, blood spattering out of it as he's running.
Okay, so then I'll hightail it as far as I can.
Okay, so what about the rest of you? Is anyone else taking an attack, or are you all just legging it?
I'm gonna run because the idea is if I do a full pelt and they follow even a little bit, I can shoot them next turn and be safe. So
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the evasion and pursuit rules out of the Old School Essentials core book, which I've not used before, so forgive me if I look these up.
Yeah.
Okay, so according to this, your chance of evasion is a percentile roll. If the evasion roll fails, a pursuit occurs. I suppose we're already technically in a pursuit, but we'll roll with it, see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the fleeing group size is 4. The number of pursuers is 4 plus. Bum, bum, bum. Sorry. Okay, so according to this, you have a 90% chance of evading them.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you guys to pick one of you to make this very important roll. It's down to you guys who makes it.
I'm happy to make it since it's my fault that I didn't get away.
Yeah. Sure.
I will tell you, obviously, for everyone else, as long as Rob gets 90 or below on the percentile, you are grand. For you, Rob, you need to get 80% or below because you stayed behind a bit too.
Fine. Yep.
So roll a D100.
Yeah. There we go.
That was a little too close for comfort.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's fine. It's
so
fine.
as you scarper from these creatures, you can see that there are some of them that either have like their legs bent backwards, or they've got really long legs, or some that drop on all fours that are moving a lot faster than the main group of them. And there's a few points as you guys are just sort of like pelting away, where you sort of think the faster ones are obviously like taking up the lead are going to catch you. But you eventually, they don't seem to have like a great deal in the way of stamina. They're more sort of like sprinters, so you soon sort of start outpacing them. Since the evasion roll succeeded, you don't need to make a pursuit. You have escaped from them. So I'm going to move us all back to the main map. There we go.
Is it noticeable though that with looking over our shoulders that they seem to sort of halt a bit sooner than we'd expect?
Yeah, they sort of sprint after you, and like for a few moments, especially for you, Malcolm, because you're sort of like nearer the back of the group as they're running away. There's a few moments when you're like, oh, the majority of them have like fallen back. They're moving quite slowly due to the various deformities. But these ones are like the sprinters, let's call them. You're like, oh, they're going to catch me up. But obviously, you're not just running in a straight line. You're like weaving. You're trying to use the terrain, stuff like that. And after a while, it does seem that they put on this initial sprint, but they very quickly start to like tire, and they start sort of falling back.
Is it noticeable that they get to a sort of perimeter?
It's not so much. It's not so much a perimeter.
For that reason.
You think it's more just that they've sort of like expended their energy, and when they sort of see that like they're not going to catch up with you guys, they slow down and start like heading back to the stone.
Yeah, I just wondered if they were sort of more tied to it than.
It doesn't appear so,
Okay.
but obviously you're sort of like you're taking like hurried glances over your shoulder as you're like hitching your cassocks up and like running for it. So you're not 100% sure, but you don't think they're sort of like they've met like any sort of like magical barrier, or they're not like tied to the stone.
And of note, they did say that they were sort of instructed to be there.
Yeah.
Which I at least took to be like, oh, these are just people.
Yeah, I just wondered how sort of worried they were if they sort of got too
So,
far
like,
away and the old man turns up. It's like,
Yeah.
where have you been?
Or like they run away and just immolate at a certain distance. Like, oh boy.
Now, as you guys know, we normally have like a 5-minute break, like comfort break halfway through. So this would seem to me to be like a natural point to do that. So I suggest we have a 5-minute break. You guys all think about what you want to do. We'll come back after 5 minutes, go grab a drink, use the toilet, etc. Come back, and then we'll crack on. So back in 5. So how are you finding your first session with the group then, Darren?
Yeah, good. Yeah, no problems at all.
Good.
Yeah, enjoying it.
Excellent. We seem to have avoided any more technical problems, touch wood.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. You muted, Janus.
Fucking double mute. Always gets me at least once per session. I know I was making a note of how there's some similarities between what's going down tonight to what went down last night.
That's it.
So I guess these guys aren't out and out cannibals, at least not yet.
I was going to say, aside from the fact, like, no one's been jumped by a horde of like undead creatures and killed yet, so.
Yeah. Well, working on that. When nightfall comes, we'll get on that.
Like I said, I did enjoy that combat in the Mummy game where I was like I said at the end, I was like, I can imagine my character like turning around to like Matthews and being like, "Oh, I've taken one, damn it!"
Oh, you're dead.
Oh, you're dead. All right.
Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Good time. Yeah, I completely blanked on how the rules worked, and I looked them up previously, and just all that knowledge just gone.
It's easily done, man. Easily done.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all back.
Okay.
Let's crack on. So you guys have successfully evaded these like twisted humanoids. They seem to have fallen back. They've returned to this ominous glowing green stone that they seem to be protecting. I'm gonna move you guys like a hex away. You've sort of like fled into this, like, it's not really like a forest, it's like a small copse of like these thin coniferous trees, and you sort of like, you're all sort of slowing down, you know, like catching your breath. You're like, you've got your weapons, you're like looking around in case there's any still after you, but after a couple of minutes it becomes obvious that they've given up the chase. What do you want to do?
What time is it, John? And roughly how long did it take us to lose them?
It probably didn't take you too long to lose. I'll say maybe about 10-15 minutes. So it's still early.
Okay.
Should we head to that building? Like I said in the first place.
But the problem being, if we don't investigate the stone now, they'll surely just reinforce it.
Where are they going to reinforce it from?
Well,
This
who knows?
building.
If we came here, there's ways to bring more people here. Wherever these come from. Because I presume they don't live on the island.
Nah, I'd have thought it's not a very big island. It's not going to sustain many people for very long, is it?
Yeah, there's there's nothing here. And they don't strike me as farmers or hunters, anyway.
I hate to agree with the dwarf, but maybe we should check out the building.
There you go. Now you're talking. Bit of sense. Which is unlike you, Malcolm.
See, you start out good and then you have to do the end bit, and
It's the dwarvish way, Weimar.
because that's not even a sandwich where you put the bad part in the middle. That's just giving someone a sandwich and then punching them in the face.
That's it.
To the building we go. We need a couple more bows and then we could just whittle them down. It's going to be sweaty work harrying them, but we can do it.
Okay, so you make your way towards what appears to be an ancient stone pillared structure. It looks very similar, although on a smaller scale, to the abbey that some of you visited previously up in the mountains. You know, sort of pillars, solid stone construction, although it's obviously been here for a long time. It's showing signs of sort of wear and tear, and the weather's obviously not been kind to it. You can see that there really only appears, to your sort of initial like quick inspection, to be one sort of like large, almost like barrow mound-esque entrance, sort of like going into the side of one of these hills with like stones either side as supports. And outside that entrance, you can see two of those similar twisted creatures that you saw back at the stone. They appear to be guarding the entrance.
Wow. Is it an ambush once again?
Yeah, I think so. John, do they have bows? Or okay. Yeah.
Do we think we could get around them to engage them and then a sort of closer combat? Or at least
Not really. Not really, given like they've got their backs to like the door effectively.
All right. So,
Is there any way to go over the hill and come down over the hill at the back of them?
Yeah, you could certainly do that, although there would be a chance of them spotting you while you're doing that, but you could certainly give it a go.
Or we could just shoot them from 70 yards.
yeah, it's just if we don't dispatch them in one turn, I guess they could go inside and alert more. But that's the risk we take, maybe. Is there any cover nearby that we can get closer?
Not really, it's like low-lying, sort of like scrubby brushland.
Okay.
One thing that does strike your notice, though, as you're sort of looking around, Friar, is obviously you've not got near enough to be spotted yet, but you've got near enough you can make out these two malformed individuals in a little more detail. And you'll see that one of them has sort of like large, sort of almost like wolf-like, like pointed ears, rather than like human ears, like sat higher up on his head. The other one looks normal, albeit a bit twisted. But as you're sort of like watching him, at one point you see like his tongue come up and like licks his cheek, but his tongue like comes like up to here. He's like,
Oh yeah, so they're proper mutated.
Well, in either case, if we tangle with them at the door, people inside probably going to hear. Unless someone has any great ideas for luring them away, or...
I was going to say, is there any way we could lure them away? But there isn't a lot of cover or anything.
I suppose one thing is if one of us goes there on their lonesome, act as bait. 1 against 2, maybe they'll take it, leave their posts.
Yes. It's
We could
possible.
try and throw a stone at them or something, yeah, and see if they would take the bait.
Do you think they'd leave their post without raising the alarm?
That's the danger, yeah.
I think maybe for one person, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But of course, we don't know these
We
people,
don't.
how they work.
No, we don't.
I mean, could we get in a position where we could sort of do both? One person could try it, and if they don't go for it, everyone could loose off
Yeah, sure.
an arrow as a sort of plan B.
I quite like the idea of trying to get round the back and drop down on top of them, kind of thing. Hit them from above. That does sound quite cool.
you can certainly give that a go.
Who's any good at that? I mean,
I'm not bad.
You're not a bad shot either, though, are you?
No,
I mean, I'm better in close melee, but I'm not particularly good at that either. I'll be honest, but I'm probably.
What
more
are you
comfortable.
good at there, Friar? You saying your prayers,
Support. I'm here in a supporting role.
stirring the cooking pot?
Yeah, I can certainly cook fairly well.
Reading them books?
Now, obviously, a little bit of time has passed. You've started to get like a bit of a like nagging headache, Leopold.
Just another day at the office.
Yeah, the effects of the booze have started to wear off.
I need some more, clearly. Where's a frost dwarf with a barrel under his cloak when you need one?
I'll make sure not to show my wineskin that's still.
Ah.
Yeah, you keep that tucked away.
Yep. Well, maybe
As you stood there watching,
Leopold.
since I've just rolled a 1 on the d6, a third one of these creatures emerges from the inside of this like barrow mound structure, and he's I mean, you're too far away to hear what's being said, but he's like talking with the two on the door, so there's now 3 of them there.
I mean, maybe we should wait to see what comes of that, to see if that third one. goes
I'll
back
tell you what
inside.
comes of it, brother. There's 3 of them. That's what comes of it. I suggest you get yourself up round that hill and drop down on them, and we'll shoot them from afar, and then we'll steam in and batter them.
After a few moments, the third creature who emerged from the barrow mound re-enters it, accompanied by the one with the pointy ears, leaving just the one with like the massive tongs that stood on the gate.
Well, now's our time.
Right.
Let's
I
not-
see this indecision has resulted in them also getting bored. Let's shoot them.
Yeah, I think we should do away with the risky approaching and being seen, and just
Take aim and loose.
let's take him by surprise.
Okay, go for it.
That's a 12.
Okay, so your bolt sort of like aims straight towards him. However, at the last minute, his like massive tongue like flicks out and just like knocks the bolt to the side. He's just like,
Whoosh your tongue.
Got monk tongue.
No, this guy is a tongue wizard. Clearly.
this time he doesn't like reach out with his tongue. He sort of like he actually like, just as your arrow goes towards him, he like bends down to like pick up the remnants of the crossbow bolt to look at it. And your arrow
Oh,
goes
Jesus.
over his head. Malcolm
And he
fares
just
no
turns
better.
around to see like what happened with the arrow and the other arrow just
Yeah,
goes by.
like basically a sort of mini storm of arrows like fly on either side of him, and he's like looking around, and just as he looks back to like face your direction, this little stone goes
Bonk.
and like smacks him in the head. He's not dead, nearly. However, as you sort of like hit him with this stone, you see like you've basically like stunned him a bit, and he sort of like drops to the ground, and he's like, does it like his tongue's like hanging out and like trailing on the floor. He like doesn't really seem to know where he is. You've hit him like dead in the center of his head. You can see he's trying to like push himself back up, but he's obviously been sort of almost like concussed by this like big rock hitting him in the forehead, and he's like,
I've set him up.
And while he is trying to get up,
Shoot him.
it's going to be a second volley.
okay.
Oh, man.
Is 13 enough?
It is indeed. You hit him with an arrow as he's sort of struggling back to his feet and finish him off. He just like slumps forward onto the ground.
That's how it's done, boys.
Yeah, I'll give Leopold a smile.
Ah.
You want to try again, Leo?
I'm done.
Okay.
You're talking to the back of Leo's head as he's rushing across the field with his axe out.
Yeah, rush the corpse.
Yeah, no problem. You rush towards the corpse. As you get closer, you can see this now dead, malformed creature. It looks like a twisted, warped human wearing rags, armed with like a crude sort of club. The only thing remarkable about him is, as he's lying on the floor, like, his tongue's like hanging out of him, and his tongue, like, of what you can see of it, and it doesn't look like it's fully extended, is like 10 foot long.
Jeez.
It's like literally like trailing on the ground, like he's face down, and his tongue's trailing out like he's got like a belt under his face. And you can see the end of it. It's got this weird sort of, almost like mucusy, like sticky sort of look to the end of the tongue.
So, what is the what's the situation with dead creatures on this island after you've told me of this rising of the dead? Do you do some sort of sacrifice or ceremony to stop them from rising once more?
Yeah, there's a ceremony. I'll get the hand axe out.
I hope you use the formal ceremony.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of pomp, less with the circumstance, but
Okay, so you get your axe out, you walk up to this dead creature.
yeah, and just to be sure, because these are clearly unusual.
Yep.
Poke it a couple of times with the hand axe, just to make sure.
You poke it the first time, and like its tongue sort of goes and like twitches a bit, and you sort of get back like ready to like lay about it, but it seems to just be like a reflection, like a twitch.
Yeah.
And you're pretty sure it's dead.
Okay, so because it was about the door, so
Yeah.
drag it off to the side so it's not there if someone
Yep. No
thinks to
problems.
come looking. So like take it if there's a corner to take around, just around the corner, and then get to like just hacking off the head, and additionally I'll put a couple of blows in the lower back to get the spine, just in case, because I don't know if there's something they can do with a headless corpse as well.
Yeah.
So
You make short work of dismembering this twisted corpse.
yeah.
So you don't believe that the dead that are being raised are actually aiding the knights in a good way to battle
Well,
this sorcerer?
It might be so. However, I don't like. Who can tell? We haven't talked to
Not
the
risking
knights,
it. Yeah.
and after our previous encounter, who knows what they think about us? So
No, that was just
for now, I'm just thinking that, especially with these, because we've never seen these before. They weren't here previously, and we didn't see the dwarves either. But I think for now, especially with these ones, I'd just like to be sure until we figure this out, because
Yeah.
I would rather have fewer of these coming after us if they do come after us. So.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's on me, by the way, if someone's getting all mad about this. I'll deal with that when the time comes, if it does. So yeah, that's the ceremony we have for these. I say as I like wipe off the axe.
Yeah, I'll say a few words to Leander, just to sort of, I hope his soul rests in peace, sort of thing, because he was obviously tormented and mutated in some way.
Oh yeah, awful destiny. Whoever these people are.
Indeed.
Does your prophet ever speak back to you?
Not directly, but in his way, certainly.
So there's more, by the way, inside before we get all relaxed. So
Thinking that we're done, yeah.
how do we go? We know there's at least two more, probably more than that. But.
So I will try and sneak in and see what I can see. And if I attract their attention, I'll just run out. So if you guys are kind of hiding outside, ready to cut them off when they follow me out.
Right. Okay. By the way, John, is there like an actual door
No, it's just like an opening.
Just an arch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll put the hand axe away, get out the sword, and I'll be sort of in ambush.
Is there any light from inside though?
There doesn't appear to be, no. It looks...
No.
It's a dark, cavernous void.
So be careful. They may be able to see in the dark.
I can also see in the dark.
Ah, very useful.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you peep into this yawning dark void, and peering inside with your sort of your night vision, effectively, your elven heritage helping you out here. You can see that there appears to be a long sort of stone corridor, like sloping down, and then it spreads out. It seems to be like quite a large structure from the quick look around you get, but like most of it is underground, sort of underneath this barrow mound.
Okay. And can I see either of the creatures that were here before?
You can't know.
Okay. And is it like a thin corridor that opens out into a room, or is it like lots of little rooms?
It appears to be the bit that you look in. It's like a long corridor, then it splits into two. There's almost like a small sort of chamber at the end of the corridor, and then it goes like left and right.
Okay. So I'd like to creep up to the chamber and see if there's anyone in it.
Okay, you move into this small chamber, sort of heading down like a little sort of flight of stone stairs at the end of this corridor. And as you like look into it, it's more just like a recess in the wall rather than an actual chamber. Now you're closer, there doesn't appear to be anyone there. As you're looking to the left and right, you can see what appear to be sort of stone arches, but these have like stone sort of slats in them acting as doors.
Okay.
And
There's one on when I look left and look right, there's one on either side.
Yeah. And in fact, I don't know whether this will work or not, because I've not actually done it before, but what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and just pull you over to this map, Rob, to see if you can see it. I don't know whether I can actually do that here. It doesn't look like it. Unfortunately not, so I'll just have to describe it to you. But yeah, as you look to the left and right, you can see a door sort of on either side.
Okay. So are they? So I walk up the corridor. There's a recess on the left, and then does it turn left and right? Are the doors like right there, or is there like a few feet before the doors?
Well, I'll tell you what, I will move you all onto the map. Obviously, I know you guys aren't in there, but it'll mean that at least Rob can see what's going on.
I was actually thinking about maybe following Malcolm up a little bit.
Okay, so I'm hoping you can see the map, or at least a portion of it now, Rob.
Yeah. I can see a large chunk.
I can see the whole shebang.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
I will avert my eyes.
That's fine. Let me just have a
So I'm
look.
zoomed in quite a bit, but I can see more than I probably should.
Okay, just give me a second. I think it's probably because you haven't got tokens on the map. Just give me a second. I'll drop you onto it. Has there been any change in your view of the map, Colin?
Well, I've averted my eyes, so I'll have to go back.
Okay.
No, I can still see it all.
Oh, that's
I'll
weird.
avert my eyes again.
Just have a quick look at this. Apologies again, guys. Let's try moving back to the main map and try that again.
That's better for me.
Okay. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Lovely. Apologies for that, guys.
It's not a problem.
So yeah, as I've described, you can see like this sort of like recess here,
Okay.
and then sort of up here you can see what this stone door, and just to the south of where Weimar is, so sort of like down here-ish, you can see another of these stone doors. The passageway would also seem to split here and here.
Okay. So we came. Did we come in this stairs here?
That's
Is that what
correct.
happened?
Yeah, you've come
Okay.
down this stairs.
Okay. And I've looked left and right, and I can see a door on either side. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I will head north to here, and then try and basically peek around either corner and see if I can see anything.
Okay, well feel free to move yourself up, and obviously you can see
Okay.
what you can see.
I'm actually going to come in and I'm going to put myself in here at this point
Okay.
and just. I can then relay quietly a bit of information, perhaps to the surface.
Indeed.
Okay. Can I see anything in either of those corridors?
Not that you can see at the moment, no.
Okay. So then what I would like to do is listen to the door and see if I can hear anything from the other side.
Okay, that is absolutely fine. So make your listen at doors roll.
If I was to see, do you?
No. Okay.
Okay, you listen at the door. You think you can hear like a very, very faint sort of scuffling, but nothing you can make out distinctly.
Okay. So I think I'll just try and open the door.
Okay, go for it. Click on the little door bit. Okay, it opens up into a room beyond. I presume you're not carrying a torch, you're just using your dark
No.
vision. Okay, so I'm going to make a roll for these cheeky chappies who are behind the door. See if they're aware of you.
I do have a surprise attack skill as well.
Oh, do you? What does that do?
So let me just pull it up here.
It's got a flick knife.
Sorry, it's only in the wilderness. It's
Okay.
not actually in a. I wouldn't consider this wilderness, so I don't think it applies.
No problems. Okay, so I will make a roll to see if they're surprised.
It's at the Rambo character class.
Okay. They are not surprised. So
Okay.
they spot you. Or only one can get at you, but one immediately rushes toward you, followed by the other, and is going to attempt to attack you
Okay.
using its like primitive club.
I will relay that there is a problem to my companions at the surface.
Okay, so it swings its crude club at you. You sort of duck back through the doorway, Malcolm, and the club like clatters into the actual sort of like archway with this loud like that like echoes down the corridors.
Okay. So I think I will return the favor.
Okay, go for it.
No.
Oh.
Ah, that's buggish.
What were you attacking with?
It's a scimitar.
Okay, so as you swing your
Ah, well, there you
scimitar
go.
down,
That was your first mistake.
as you swing your scimitar down, this creature like swings its like crude club up, and the two weapons like meet each other, and you're both like trying to like force each other back. The second creature's like trying to push round the first to like try and get at you, but there's just not enough room basically.
Okay.
Okay, so that's them gone. That's Malcolm gone. It's over to the rest of you guys.
I'll just call up a shout to the guys up by the door. There's a problem. Enemy spotted. Going in.
Okay, so just to paint a picture with words for the Friar and for Weimar, you see Malcolm head down this corridor in the flickering light of your torches. He opens this door. This creature immediately fills the door. There's like a exchange of blows, none of them managing to land a hit on each other. And then Leopold turns around and like, there is a problem.
Yeah, well, they're outside, isn't they? They're outside working on their tent.
Yeah.
I've got we've got the 2 cups with a string between. Going, there's a problem. I'm going in, and then I drop the pot and rush into the fray.
Okay, move yourself in.
Yeah, these 5-foot squares, I can get there and clump a guy, can't I?
You would be able to, however, much as in the same way their guy can't get in because there's someone in the way, Malcolm's like in the doorway.
Get out of the way, Malcolm. What's the matter with you? You missed. Step aside. So where can I get?
I'm going to say, like, Malcolm, if you want to step aside, you can do that.
Cool.
You can move in.
Right. Is there any way, like, is there a thing where I can just come, like, barging through and, like, barrel this fool out of the way? Like, just come in, like, rush him, rush him.
I will say, if you want to just do that as, like, your entire action, just to, like, knock him out of the way and get in the room, you can do that. If you want to make an attack as well, you can do so, but your attack will be, like, a penalty because you're barging through and then just, like, swinging wildly, basically.
Well, I might as well have a go, won't I?
Okay, so move yourself into the room to like where you want to end up.
Yeah.
All right, I was hoping you weren't going to put it on top of the other token, but never mind.
All right.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm just kidding.
All right. So I'm rolling.
So what I'm going to say is make a strength check now, and this strength check is going to determine like how bad the like penalty is. Like if you succeed, it'll be a little penalty because you just like. It's a success. So you are only going to get a -2 penalty to your attack roll.
Okay. This.
As you literally just like shoulder barge this guy out of the way and like come up with your Frost Dwarf axe, which I hope you've noticed I've renamed as a Frost Dwarf
I have
axe.
noticed it. Yeah, it wasn't wasted on me. I will see what it does now. See what it does.
Not a lot.
Ah, shonky. Should have kept the other axe.
Okay, so you rush in. Unfortunately, because you're trying to like disentangle yourself from this like creature, you just sort of swing wildly and you like basically slice a bit of his furs off, but you don't actually get a blow in on it.
Yeah, I've not. This is an untried axe. I need to get a measure of it.
Okay, so for Brother Lomas and for Weimar Lonegrove, obviously you were stood like sort of like just at the top of the stairs, like looking down the corridor, and you've seen sort of like stood at the end of the corridor, Leopold like giving you the signs and letting you know what's going on. Then suddenly he's just drawn his axe and he's just like disappeared from view as he's like pelted down the corridor. What do you guys want to do?
We've got no light down there at the moment, have we? So
no.
Okay. So... Go on,
well, I can get a torch going. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you take an action to light a torch.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I'll get the torch going, and torch. Sun sword. Down we go.
Okay, and I shall follow with my trusty staff.
Okay, so since you guys were just stood at like the sort of top of the stairs, basically, you can still take your move and attack as you would do normally, because you were sort of like edging closer as you were like seeing like, because obviously thanks to Leopold going like there's some trouble going down, guys. You were like, oh, we best to like get ready, so you were ready to like head in there.
So I guess like we'll come down and Malcolm's there. So a quick glance and like nod towards where Leopold is,
Yeah, you see Leopold like untangling himself. Oh, get out of it!
Oh yeah, so yeah, there's something going on there. So I'll give a nod to Malcolm and get in.
Okay.
So coming in with the torch in my left hand, sun sword in the right, and I'll be quite surprised by this individual. Oh, the ping goes underneath the token, but the one on my right.
Yeah.
Because I thought, yeah, there's something there that Leopold is fighting, but I didn't realize that there was a second one as well. So I'll jump a little bit and like try and
Go for it.
hit it with the sun sword. Okay. Come on, praise Gale.
Okay, so you swing your sword. This creature, like surprisingly nimbly, like leaps back out of the way of your swipe. However, as you swing the sword, like Leopold, and everyone else hears Weimar sort of talking in a voice that's not his own, and you hear this voice go, "Yes, that's right. Run away. Don't worry, we'll get him next time." Okay. Brother Lomas, obviously you've heard this like strange exclamation. You can see it's like coming from Weimar and his mouth's moving, but it's blatantly not his voice.
Yeah. What was my movement rate? Sorry, John.
It should be on your character sheet.
Oh, I didn't see it.
40.
Oh, is that what that is? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all good.
Oh,
To be honest, we're all still getting used to like Foundry and slight differences, so don't worry about it.
oh,
It-
I can't go there.
You know when you drag your measurement over, if you want to go somewhere where you've like measured to, if you press the space bar, like when you've got it where you want it, it'll move you to where your measurement stops.
Can I actually get through there though?
Yeah, because there's only like other player characters in the way, so you can just like duck round them.
So I don't know if you can see my measuring thing, but this is 40.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
seems good. Yep. I shall squeeze my ample frame past the other two and take a swing at this guy at the end there.
Go for it.
Oh, Lomas is a lardy boy, is he? Used to the easy life.
He's got a lot of heavy furs.
He's got a bit of timber on him, but he's a friar. He's a man of God. He's not like a combat monster.
That's it. The easy life.
Shouldn't judge.
Too much beer and honey.
Yeah, but look, he's doing the business. That's all that
Yeah.
matters.
However, as you're sort of like, oh, a bit too much beer and honey, almost as though like goaded by your words, he starts like slapping the absolute shit out of this creature. What weapon is it you're using, by the way, Brother Lomas?
He's got the staff. He's got the two-handed.
Okay, yeah, so you just start like laying about this creature with your staff, like raining like heavy blows down on it. And it sort of like falls to the floor, so trying to hold its hands up, like trying to like fend off at these blows. But like you give it such a drubbing, it's technically still alive, but it's pretty much like in a bloody heap on the floor with you like.
And
You know,
stay down.
if he's the friar, he should be getting their two heads together and like just go doosh, banging their heads together. That's the classic friar move, and then trip them over with your quarter staff.
Okay, so I believe everyone's acted. So it's going to be the creatures. So the one that's trying to fend you off, he's going to make a last desperate attempt to like swipe at your legs and like bite onto your legs, Brother Lomas, because like he really can't get at anyone else because you're like giving him such a kick in.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, you take 4 hit points of damage as you feel these surprisingly sharp teeth like clamp onto your leg as this thing, like the last ounce of its strength is just like ah!
Oof. Oh, that's wrong.
Yeah, if you look on your sheet, you should see the
Yeah, did the
oh,
wrong
I see
one.
you've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problems. Everyone does that the first time they have to change it, including me. Okay, so to your left, Leopold, you see this almost like beaten to death creature sort of suddenly like lunges forward, like bites in. You can see it's got like almost like canine teeth, like sharp sort of fangs, and it clamps onto Brother Lomas's leg, and you see like blood leaking down the side of its face as it's like,
Oh, jeez.
what do you do, Leopold?
Well, I feel like Brother Leopold could probably deal with that. This is. No, I better try and hit the other one. I feel. Or should I? No. I'll hit that one that's biting on him. That seems like that's a clear and present danger. So I will.
Go for it.
I will get off him. I've got +2 to that. Or have I got +2 or 15?
So you've,
No, it's just a +1, isn't it? So, yeah.
okay, that's one short of what you need, I'm afraid. So you get ready to swing in. However, as you do, because obviously like Brother Lomas is trying to like shake this thing off his leg, he turns around and you're like, oh, best not, otherwise I'm just going to hit him. And you have to like pull your attack back short. Okay, Weimar. What do? You're muted if you're speaking.
Yep. So, is my friend over here reacting in any way to his compatriot getting absolutely smashed with a stick?
He doesn't really seem to be honest.
Okay, there's something to think about with like how these people are. Like, is it just going in for its own survival at this point, or?
Yeah, it seems to be.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So he's Weimar. That is going to go in with the sun sword again. Come on. No, it's not gonna happen.
Okay, so you swing in for this creature, and I'm gonna make its attack now because I forgot to.
Yep.
In its round. Okay. Let's see what we do.
Ooh.
Okay, so you swing in with your sword, and as you do so, it hurls itself towards you, going for your throat. You basically like leap up into the air, so it like lands on the floor where you were. But in doing so, it throws your attack wide, but you avoid being hit by this creature.
Yep. So I was going to hit, but instead it was a dodge.
Indeed. Okay, so Malcolm, back out in the corridor.
Okay, I'm going to step into the doorway.
Before you do so, roll me a d6. Okay, as you're sort of like heading into the door, you can hear the sound of footsteps coming from here. If you can see that ping.
I can't see the ping.
I'll tell you what.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it's coming from down this corridor.
Okay.
Sorry, unfortunately, normally I can tell whether you can see the pings. I can see it in my test player window, but since I can't use it, I've got like a different view to you guys.
Okay. So, do I hear them coming at pace or just coming?
They appear to be moving quite rapidly.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just whistle into the room that there's someone coming, and I will get my bow ready to shoot whoever it is when they come around the corner.
Okay, no problems. Okay, so you're ready and set. So we'll move on to the next round. So it's the creature. The one on the floor is going to attack. Have you gone this round, Brother Lomas?
No, I haven't had my second go. As it were.
In which case, my apologies. Please do whatever you want to do.
I'm gonna try and use my staff and my other foot to stomp on this creature.
Nice. Make your attack roll. Yeah, it's only got 1 hit point left. You stomp it good.
Yeah, I shall use its leverage on my leg to get a good hit on it. It's pinned in place.
Indeed, and what I'm going to say is, since it only had 1 hit point left, I'm going to say you basically sort of step into here and sort of like swing your staff, and I'm going to roll 2 of your damage over to the next one.
Oh, sweet.
Because you basically because this thing only had 1 hit point left, so you basically smash through that and carry through into the next one, knocking a couple of hit points, sort of striking it unawares from the side, sort of throwing it off balance a little bit. Okay, so has everyone gone this round? Cool. Okay, I'll go on to those creatures.
Whoops.
Now the sort of sound of combat's died down a bit, you guys all hear like a... And you see from the corridor here 2 more of the creatures that rush into the room you're in. Also, a couple of them run around here into the corridor that you're in, Malcolm.
Okay.
And those ones that have come around here will be able to get into combat. Or one of them will.
Now, can I shoot on their turn because I was readying?
Yeah, that's fine. Go for it. Okay, so as the first one runs around a corner, it's like, "Argh!" And you just like fire an arrow, it goes straight into its mouth, and it just sort of like, it takes a couple of halting steps forward as though like it doesn't really, its brain's not yet processed what's happened, and then it just like topples forward. You see the one behind it doesn't even slow down, it just like literally like tramples over its body trying to get towards you. Okay, so I'll do the attack rolls for the ones up here. So we've got 1 on Brother Lomas. You take 3 hit points of damage.
I don't think I do. I think he's only on 3.
So you're down to 0 hit points, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you're unconscious. You're not dead. One of the house rules we use is basically you can go to minus your level before you're dead.
Okay.
Okay, so this creature just like whacks Brother Lomas round the face with this crude club, and he just goes down. Okay, so the other one's going to attack Weimar. Well, the second one who's just rushed in can't get to anybody. Okay, and the one you're fighting, Weimar, hits you for 6 damage, again striking you with a crude club. And it's over to you guys. Who wants to go first?
I'll shoot the one in the corridor.
Okay, go for it. That is a hit. Okay, so would you like to describe how you cinematically dispatch a second of these creatures with an arrow?
So as it's kind of slowed down a little bit to climb over its mate, and it's just going to get the same arrow into right between the eyes, just straight into the brain.
Yeah, your arrow hits it with such force it actually like spins around on the spot, and then its legs just go out from underneath and it just collapses to the floor.
Yeah, right beside its friend.
Okay, so Leopold.
Yeah, I'm just
Lomas is down.
Yeah, I just dance around the side of this one and come at it as it's about to like fall upon Lomas. I outflank it and try and
Go for
hit
it.
it. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh,
Okay, you swing at it. You don't manage to land a palpable hit on it. However, you have distracted it from just like jumping on the unconscious form of Brother Lomas. Okay, why more?
Yeah, we're continuing to fail.
epically.
I'll just take another swipe at my eternal foe, and we'll see how that goes.
I don't know if I'd quite graduate them to the status of eternal foe, but
We'll see. Praise Gale.
That's good enough.
Getting there.
it's good
Getting
enough.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, you have taken this creature down. How do you finish it off?
It's been extremely shambolic, the fight that we've had.
Yeah.
So I think it just ends that way as well, because it jumped me, I dodged, and I think I basically slip and just like fall down.
Accidentally hit it.
Like steady myself with the sword and just impale it by accident. It's
You
like,
you impale
leaning on
it,
and it's like,
yeah, you impale it and like put, because as you're sort of like
Yeah.
coming down from your leap, you put all your weight behind it and it's like
yeah, it's like pinned on the floor. It's like, and I was just like, like trying to push myself up, stepping on the corpse,
so.
still twitching.
Has everyone acted this round?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that one's now free to move in towards Weimar. So I'm going to do the one attacking Leopold first. You have taken 2 hit points of damage as this crude club smashes into you. Leopold. And then the one attacking Weimar. Does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, unfortunately for it, it steps into the void of entropy that is me currently. It just sucks out all the luck.
Indeed, I'm going to say it's sort of it steps forward and it actually slips slightly as it's sort of like stepping onto like the sort of splattered remains of its companion, and it has to like spend its like action like steadying itself effectively, so it's not able to attack you.
Yeah, the Benny Hill music.
Pretty
is
much.
where we are.
Okay, Leopold. What do you want to do?
I will. I'm actually going to try and move around a bit more and
That's fine.
hit.
13. That's exactly what you need. So as this creature's sort of like turning around, you see like spittle running down its face, and it's sort of like it's basically looming over like Brother Lomas, like getting ready to like rend him to shreds. How do you finish it off?
Yeah, I think I just fall upon it with the full weight of the axe and like follow it up with like a knee in
Nice.
the, so it like goes straight over the top of him, rolls over the top, and I end up sort of standing astride Lomas.
Indeed.
Lomas.
So
Other Lomas.
as you sort of finish this creature off, you're now basically sort of stood over like one leg either side of like Brother Lomas lying on the floor. Okay, Weimar.
Okay, let's see what terribleness occurs as like just about get myself up, like try and pull the sword out in time to swing it again.
The sword slides out with surprising ease.
Let's see about the results though. So again, just continuing to hit the next one. No, so it's because there's there's a bunch of viscera on the floor now, so it's like slipping and sliding. It's just like whoa.
Yeah, the sort of combat between you and that, I think it's basically you both sort of like sliding and like falling over and picking yourselves up, so that as the remains of the dead one are just getting splattered everywhere, and you both like slipping and trying to block each other and spraying this blood and viscera everywhere.
Bad times.
Okay, Malcolm.
So if I step back here, well, best idea. Okay, so can I attack him from the doorway?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I will just swing my sword.
Boom.
There you go. Oh,
He is done. So as this thing's like sliding around and all this blood and viscera, and it's managed to steady itself. It's like lifting its claw, but it's not even noticed you. It's like, I'm gonna KY while I was sculling. How do you sneak in and finish it off?
So yeah, as it's kind of lifting its club, just kind of scimitar comes into the room, just straight into its chest, and just gets twisted and pulled back out.
I do enjoy the image. It's like just out of screen, the scimitar just comes in suddenly. Like,
And that's pretty much what happens, leaving you all alone for the moment. You're all sort of breathing quite heavily with the exertions of the combat. You sort of like, you let your breath slow down. You're all like listening out. Obviously, you with your keen sense of hearing, Malcolm, but you don't hear the sounds of any further footsteps approaching for the moment.
Let's get the brother out of here.
that was terrible. I'll put the sword away, and presumably Leopold is gonna help me with Brother Lomas.
yeah. I'll grab hold of him under his arms, lift him up, hoik him up.
Yeah, I'll take like a leg and a half because I have the torch as well. So
I'll take the torch if you want to lead you.
okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll be mumbling about glass cannons as I'm lifting him up.
There's a bit of a glass trebuchet.
Oh yeah.
Glass catapult.
Although technically we've got gunpowder in this setting, so yeah, glass cannon's fine. Okay, so
Does that shoot glass then?
okay, so you've got hold of Brother Lomas. Are you just planning to like scram out of the building?
I think so, yeah. I think
Yeah.
we want to get him somewhere safe.
I think we need to medivac him out, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay. So we move back onto the main map. You're blissfully unmolested as you all sort of like firemen's lift Brother Lomas, and you like hot foot it back out through the yawning open portal of this strange sort of barrow mound / tomb construction. Obviously, you can tell that Brother Lomas is alive. He's still breathing. As soon as you get into the cold air, you can see his breath like hissing out of him.
Should we go back to the dwarves or?
I think we should go down here into the forest and just kind of set up camp and see what we can do to tend his wounds and have some food and see what the night brings.
Okay, so
Have we got any medicinal herbs or anything to fix him up?
No. No, a bit of rest and some bandages is about as good as it gets.
Okay, no, we know, like, according to the rules, if you have like a day of rest, you heal 1d3 hit points. So you guys hot foot it down to the forest. I'm going to make a quick roll to see if anything happens to you on the way. Ooh. Okay. Let's see what we do. Okay. So as you're making camp in the forest, you might actually quite like this, Malcolm. You're sort of like, you're the ranger, obviously you're the huntsman, Malcolm. So you're sort of, while everyone else is getting Brother Lomas settled down, getting ready to make a campfire, all the normal stuff you do when you're camping, you're sort of checking out the site, so like making sure you're safe, like looking for tracks, the normal sort of stuff. And as you're sort of like peering into the trees, you hear like this like sound coming from just a little way inside the trees.
Okay.
Well, that don't sound like dryads.
So I will try and creep up on whatever kind of creature is making this noise.
Okay, make your wilderness move silently roll.
Oh no.
Okay. So as you move a short distance into the trees, you come across what appear to be a couple of wild boar, sort of like snuffling around in the roots of the trees, making that like as they're obviously looking for roots and stuff like that they can eat. One of them looks up. They've obviously noticed you, but they're animals. They're not like immediately hostile. You're not like rushing towards them or anything. They're sort of like keeping half an eye on you, but they seem mainly concerned with like finding food. And you can see that these boars, being a sort of a polar species of the genus, they have like large sort of like white, like bristly fur rather than normal like dark browns you get from boars in Rohaline, your home continent.
Okay.
They don't appear vastly interested in you, to be perfectly honest.
Okay. So what I would like to do, which won't surprise you, is approach one with a little bit of food held out and see if I can't make him my animal companion.
Okay, remind me, and for the viewers at home, how that works again.
It's basically a morale roll +1, I think.
So I make a morale roll for them and add 1. Is that correct?
I must approach the animal in a peaceful manner. Yeah, the referee makes a reaction roll with a +1 bonus and my charisma modifier, which is basically 0. And if the result is 8 or greater, the animal is my companion.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is cross one of your rations off, because regardless of the result, they're having that food, so you've lost that.
Yeah, perfect.
And I'm going to make the roll for them. I've only rolled 1d6 like an idiot, so let me roll another one. Just roll them both together. It's too lame even to do simple addition. I'll tell you what, I'll just roll the wrong dice as well while I'm at it. 6, 7, +1, 8.
Yeah.
There's an 8.
Okay,
so I'm just, forgive the slight delay, guys, I'm just having a quick look at Malcolm's sheet to refresh myself on that ability, because it's not one we really used. The animal becomes the hunter's loyal companion. Okay, so just give me a moment. I'm going to replicate a copy of the ball. Boom, 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 boom. Duplicate. There we go. Let's move that into the play a bit.
That is some tasty rations there you got.
Yeah, and it stays fresh because it's walking around with us.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the permissions on that. So, like, if it becomes necessary in the future, Rob, you should be able to control that. And if you click on it now, you should be able to see like the full character sheet and everything. Well, it's a monster sheet, obviously.
perfect.
Okay, yeah, so you offer this food out. Both boars like grab a chunk of like the sort of jerky or whatever you're offering. One of them immediately sort of grabs it and runs off into the woods with it. The other one sort of stays behind and it's still eyeing you a little warily, but it seems like well disposed towards you since you've offered it some food.
Okay. Cool. I need to find the name for it.
Yeah, and in fact, because you control the sheet, you should just be able to rename it by just over-typing where it says boar at the top of the sheet.
Okay.
Okay, congratulations. You have yourself a boar animal companion.
Excellent.
So to the rest of you guys, it's a bit of an odd scene, I'm not going to lie to you. You've been like sorting out Brother Lomas, making him comfortable. You've got a little fire started, you know. You started like getting the cooking pot on with some water, you know, the normal sort of stuff you do. And then you hear like this in the trees, and Malcolm like disappears into the trees. There's more, and then he comes walking out a short while later, and he's got this like little like wild like white furred boar, sort of like not looking tame, but sort of like walking alongside of me. Occasionally like offers it like a little bit of food, and it's like walking next to him.
Right.
So yeah, it's a little bit of an odd scene. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
Yeah, Malcolm's a bit odd, as you guys know. So,
But then again, eventually, this is exactly the sort of thing we want to be doing here. So, good. Yeah, we'll want to get more of those, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so as you have this discussion, you're all sort of settling in for the evening. Now, obviously, you're going to have to spend at least a day here because Brother Lomas is going to need like a day of rest. So you're not going to be able to sort of wake him up in the morning and go straight to it. You're going to have to like stay here for a day.
I mean, I can do some healing once I'm conscious.
Yeah, but you need to have a day's rest before you get enough hit points back to be conscious.
Yeah,
that's the rub here. And I think since we have our camp in a different place than we landed, before it gets dark, I'll go and get our canoe.
Yeah, no problems.
Because we need it here in case we need to go in the night.
Yeah. Whilst you do that, I think I'll gather up firewood and.
Okay. So
maybe can I do some foraging or anything?
you most certainly can, my friend.
Would that be dedicated?
Well, you've got an entire day, so yeah.
Okay. I've got a 4 in 6. And a 5 in 6 if there's a friar in the party. But he's out of action, but good to know. Right. So it's a D6. Do you count 1 and up?
Yep.
Then I have succeeded.
Okay, so roll me another d6.
Ooh. I don't remember seeing all this stuff before. Well, I broke even.
Yeah, you've basically found like one set of rations, which I'll drop onto your carriage.
I've wandered around for a day eating
I actually have all
raspberries.
the rations, John. Just
Oh, right, okay, just add
Sorry,
one on.
mate.
Just add
Yeah.
one onto your stash. So yeah,
Um,
you've wandered around, Leopold. You found like berries and like roots that you think are edible and stuff like that. It's not particularly appetizing, you know. It'll do at a push. I mean, this island, as Weimar rightly said, is fairly like sparse. Aside from like the trees and like a few animals, I mean, even the boars are having to like scrabble around looking for stuff. So you're pretty lucky you found anything, to be perfectly honest.
I'll try and spend a day doing some hunting if that's okay.
That is absolutely fine, Malcolm.
It's not actually a roll. Okay, it's just a string. Oh. Okay, so I find nothing. I guess my.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, you already met the day's catch.
Yeah. I decided not to catch it.
So whilst Leopold and Malcolm have been doing that, Weimar, you fetch the canoe, you've got it to your current position, it's good to go. The night passes fairly uneventfully. Are you just planning on staying put for the day to give Lomas time to heal, or?
I think that's the plan. Like we need Lomas on his feet, and yeah.
Okay, so another day passes. I'll make a roll to see if anything happens. Oh, something has happened. Let me see what it is.
Death Knights.
Yeah, that'd be unfortunate, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Weimar, as you're heading back with the canoe, which I know this happens slightly afterwards, but just for like narrative purposes. As you're heading back with the canoe, you spot a single malformed humanoid shape slinking through the trees, obviously trying to be a bit stealthy, but not aided by its twisted body. and you recognise it, another one of these sort of like mutated creatures that seems to be like slowly trying to sneak close to like where your camp is, but there only appears to be one of them.
And I'm on the canoe. Distance-wise, how much are we talking?
About 20 feet.
Ooh, it's gonna get shot. Okay, so I'm gonna shoot it.
Go for it.
Okay, longbow. Yep.
Okay, so just to give this a bit of a narrative flair, in the camp conscious there is only Malcolm and Leopold. The sort of underbrush suddenly parts and this like mutated raggedy ass creature runs in and it like leaps through the air, like trying to like dive on the two of you, and suddenly from out of the air there's this, and this arrow hits it in the back. It rolls over and starts like picking itself up with this arrow sticking out of its back. It's not looking too clever, but it's still grimly hanging on to life. But the arrow has pretty much like halted its surprise attack. So Malcolm and Leopold, you'll get a chance to strike it should you wish.
And how far away from us is it?
By the time you've seen it, it's about 10 foot.
Okay.
It's literally just burst out of the trees where you are.
Yeah, because it was about to be on your back, trying to kill you. But
So I'll grab my sword, which I would expect to be nearby, and try and swing at it. Whoa.
Okay, that'll do it. So literally, as this thing's like picking itself up off the floor with this arrow sticking about, you literally just step in and like swipe its head off, and its body collapses to the floor. At which point your boar companion moves over and starts eating it.
Nice.
I was going to say these things edible.
Well, the boar certainly seems to think so.
You got a new ritual now.
I might try and cook a bit up.
Yeah. Roll me a D3, Leopold.
A 2.
Okay, you managed to get a single like ration's worth of meat off it as you're sort of trying to like shoulder the boar out the way as it's like guzzling it down. So you now have a ration's worth of sort of semi-human meat to add to.
Waste not, want not,
Malcolm.
That's what the old ancestors say.
is that what they say, though?
Okay,
Yeah, that's what they say now.
the rest of the day passes.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
The rest of the day passes fairly uneventfully. I rolled for you earlier, Brother Lomas. You regained 3 hit points. So you sort of, the last thing you remember, you were getting clobbered by these like brutal creatures in some sort of underground barrow. But as you start waking up, you can see you're in like a little like forest clearing. There's a little fire crackling away. There's like what looks to be the remains of a hacked up headless body, like not too far away. As your senses are dimly returning, you can hear this loud, like bellicose voice going, "Waste not, want not." That's what the ancestors say. And you sort of, as your sight sort of swims hazily back into view, you're looking around and you can see your companions, like Weimar's, just sort of like bringing the boat up into the trees effectively as you're sort of regaining consciousness. You can see that obviously pretty much an entire day has passed and night has just started to fall.
So things didn't go quite to plan.
Well, you're not dead.
Thankfully so. Leander has decided to spare me.
Your prophet's very generous.
With the help of my companions, obviously. So, would I assume I wouldn't be able to do any spells because I wasn't sort of conscious that morning, was I?
What I'm going to say is you'll be able to like do your like praying now effectively, but it will take like some time.
I would be able to do a bit of healing sort of in the evening or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Because I think Weimar's injured as well, isn't he?
However, as you're sort of like, you're settling down and you're like, oh, I should probably say, pray for some healing power from Leander, you start getting this vague sense of unease. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you just start feeling a little bit unsettled.
What, within myself or
Yeah.
within the surroundings?
Within yourself.
Well, I should add that into my prayer session for some foresight or trying to understand what's going on.
Okay, so you've moved a short distance away from the others to like have a bit of quiet to do your praying, basically, and you're sort of like centering yourself, trying to push the unease away so you can concentrate on your prayers to Leander. When, as you happen to look up through the trees, you see what appear to be maybe half a dozen figures in the darkness shambling towards you. And as one of them steps into a patch of moonlight that is shining through the trees, you see the vacant, slack-jawed, rotting face of a dead man staring back at you. And that is where we end the session for this evening, guys. As Brother Lomas spots 6 zombies approaching through the trees, for it is now night time.
Can't catch a break, can I?
Nope.
No, but you are still alive, so
Okay, so thank you very much for playing, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it, some technical hitches and whatever aside.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was good.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so again, thanks to my excellent players, I'm going to stop the stream now and then we'll sort out XP and stuff. So if you're watching this in the future, thanks very much. Take care and we'll catch you soon.
Bye.